Hi guys, Ruben here. Very soon, 2 weeks later, we're going to be able to watch The Last Jedi. You know, I started to rewatch Star Wars again for episode 1 with my wife, and after watching that again, I still feel that the theory that I had kind of still makes sense. So first question was, who is Reys' father? And back then, I said this. A lot of theories came up that maybe she's Han Solo's daughter, maybe she's Luke Skywalker's daughter, but I have a different theory that wasn't really discussed, which is that Rey is neither the daughter of Han Solo or Skywalker. She doesn't come from the Skywalker line, and I think she's simply conceived by the will of the Force. Firstly, in this scene in Star Wars Episode 1, when qui-gon actually asked Shmi about how the boy was conceived, she replied saying that she can't explain it, but he has no father.
Who was his father?
There was no father. I carried him, I gave birth, I raised him. I can't explain what happened.
His cells have the highest concentration of midi-chlorians I have seen in a life form. It is possible he was conceived by the midi-chlorians.
When she says he has no father, it could mean two things. One, literally that he has no father. Two, he had a father, but she doesn't recognize him as a father, you know, like. But if you think about it, after that she kind of mentioned that, oh well, I bore him, I raised him, and I couldn't explain it, but it happened. So it's more likely that based on the context of the conversation, that she really doesn't know how she conceived Anakin, and that makes it possible for life to be formed in a woman's womb without having a father. So at least in this show, in the universe of Star Wars, that's possible. Actually, Emperor Palpatine in a conversation with Anakin mentioned that previously there was a Sith Lord who had so much control and so much power and influence with the Force that he was able to create life.
Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise. He could use the Force to influence the midi-chlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
You know, I liked how Emperor Palpatine paused for a long time and turned to Anakin and said life, almost to suggest as if that he knew that Anakin was conceived in the same way. When he talked about how Darth Plagueis could also prevent death, he also looked at Anakin in the same fashion, turned at the same time, and looked at him in a knowing manner, as if he knew that Anakin was seeing visions of Padme's death. So to me, it almost seemed as if Palpatine knew that Skywalker, at least Anakin, was conceived in the same manner. But anyway, so that also validates the point that it's possible that in the universe of Star Wars, a child could be conceived without a father, purely by the will of the midi-chlorians. Of course, whether that's naturally occurring or whether somebody from the dark side influenced that and caused that to happen, that's another story altogether. But at least here we can acknowledge that the possibility exists, that it is possible for the conception of someone without the father, and therefore there is a chance that Rey could be conceived in the same manner, and therefore explain her very high midi-chlorian count.
You're afraid.
So, which brings me to my second point. So, the role of Rey in Star Wars, nobody really knows for sure. I have a suspicion that she is the chosen one, or the real chosen one, to bring balance to the Force. I think that Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one, but he kind of got seduced by the dark side and was unable to bring balance to the Force. Of course, people can argue, and I have heard this argument that, well, to have balance, you need both. You need light and darkness. That's what it means to balance. But actually, the way I define the balance depends heavily on what the show reveals, right? So one of the clues that we have is when Obi-Wan actually shouts out to Anakin saying that you were supposed to be the chosen one.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
Okay, so clearly Obi-Wan has a view about what it means to bring balance to the Force. Of course, people can argue that Obi-Wan might be wrong. That is possible too. But assuming that Jedi Master, very well versed in the prophecy, he should know what it means to bring balance to the Force. I think it's pretty safe to say that balance means to destroy the Sith and not to join the darkness. So, and in that sense, Anakin, Darth Vader, he filled that role as the chosen one. So to me, it felt like the Force had to move again to bring Rey into the picture, to really bring balance to the Force finally. So anyway, all this is pure speculation. We don't know until the movie comes out on 15 December. So, well, let's just wait for another 2 weeks and see what happens. Yeah, but I just thought it's quite interesting to discuss a little bit about this whole who is Rey, what's her role, who's her father, and just wanted to share this with you guys. So hope you enjoy, and let's find out more when the show screens in the cinemas here in Singapore. So cheers, thanks for watching.